In today's video, I am going to explain what some, not all, but some VA employees are doing or knowing to do when the veteran submits a sufficient DBQ, also known as a disability benefit questionnaire. So make sure you stick around. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD89 VA Claims Consulting, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. Today's video, when a veteran submits a sufficient DBQ, some VA employees are not doing or not following a couple of steps that they are supposed to. Now, before I get into today's video, make sure you go out to my website, www.kmd89.com. Pick up my new book, VA Claims Success. So today's video, a lot of you already know myself and a couple of members of my staff, we are all retired VA rating specialists. So a lot of this information that I'm bringing to you is from the 38 CFR, the VA's 38 CFR, and or the VA's M21 manual reference, which all VA employees, to include rating specialists, are to follow. But I'm going to show you and prove to you today that many are not doing so, in hopes you can take this information, and if you fall into this category, you can use it when you are adjudicating your own claim, okay? So we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. Got a couple of slides. I'm going to show you and explain what's missing. Slide number one. Here in slide number one, it's M21 manual reference, and it's DBQs and examination cancellations, okay? So think of this scenario. Veteran submits a DBQ, sufficient DBQ, and they get a call from QTC, LHI, Optimum, VES Services, the third-party contractor. And that vet says, you know what? I done spent my time and money to get this done by my own doctor. I've had this DBQ completed per your guidelines. I'm not going to see your doctor for whatever reason, okay? If that happens, this is what this VA employee is supposed to do. So M21 manual reference, DBQs and examination cancellations. Use the table below to handle cases when notified that a scheduled examination, like I just said, VES Services, LHI, has been canceled because the claimant is you, intends on submitting a DBQ completed by a private provider. So let's talk about that for a quick second. Some veterans, they'll submit a 526EZ in this example and say, hey, this is what I'm claiming, and I intend on submitting a DBQ. Or one thing that I recommend, submit that DBQ with the 526EZ, but sometimes they don't, all right? Now, in one of those scenarios, the veteran says, hey, I'm going to submit it later. This is what the VA employee is supposed to do. But I guarantee you they're not doing it. And if they do, leave me a comment in the comment section. If telephone contact is successful, meaning they have to call you. So at the top it says, no, RO personnel must attempt to contact the claimant, meaning you, via telephone prior to making a rating decision. So what this reference is telling that VA employee, oh, the veteran noted on the 526EZ that they will intend on submitting the DBQ. And the VA employee goes ahead and cancels the exam without doing this, okay? RO personnel must attempt to contact the claimant via telephone prior to making a decision. If telephone contact is successful, they have to document it on the VA Form 27-0820, Report of General Information. Also, keep in mind, when you contact the VA's 800 number, they're filling out the same form. So when you get a copy of that VA claims folder and you see this, they're documenting when you call in and they speak to you. And it goes on to say, inform the veteran that the DBQ should be submitted within 30 days. Now, again, if you fell into this category or a particular situation at any point in time when you were adjudicating your claim, leave a comment in the comment section if that VA employee called you. I guarantee you it's a small percentage, okay? So real quick, veteran fills out a 526EZ in this example and tells the VA, I am claiming this and I'm going to submit a DBQ in the near future or within 30 days or whatever. This is what that VA employee is supposed to do. And I guarantee you, many are not doing it. They're going ahead and scheduling the exam. But again, veteran counsels it. This should be done. So the hint is, guess what M21 reference you could be documenting on that 526CZ, okay? Just as a hint. Moving right along, slide number 2. This slide is a 38 CFR, a regulation, okay? So one of the examples I gave you on the last slide, I gave you 2, but then I talked about the veteran not submitting the DBQ with the claim form. This regulation is in line with when the veteran submits a DBQ with the claim form. And it reads, 38 CFR, providing medical examinations or obtaining medical opinions. Now, before I go on, this regulation is huge. Not huge, but it's a lot. I just picked out this particular section, okay? So again, providing medical examinations or obtaining medical opinions. In a claim for disability compensation, VA will provide a medical examination or obtain a medical opinion based upon a review of the evidence of record if VA determines it is necessary to decide the claim. Now, what this means, provide a medical examination or medical opinion, that is due process, okay? That piece is due process. Based upon review of evidence of record. Your DBQ is of record and it is sufficient. And this is an example that I'm giving. So now VA determines, meaning VA employee have to determine, oh, this DBQ is sufficient. Do I schedule a CMP exam or do I go ahead and rate it? Most are scheduling a CMP exam, even though they know they have a sufficient DBQ. Now, the second part, a medical examination or medical opinion is necessary if the information and evidence of record does not contain sufficient competent medical evidence to decide the claim. What we're talking about, your DBQ is sufficient. Therefore, an exam is not necessary. I'm gonna read it and say that again. A medical examination or medical opinion is necessary if the information and evidence of record does not contain sufficient competent medical evidence. What we're saying is your DBQ is sufficient. Therefore, an examination from a third party, VA third party contractor is not necessary. Now, what I just giving you, if you fall into either one of those 2 categories and you get a negative rating decision, not service connected, or the grant for increase is not granted. What is the argument if you decide to do a high level review? What evidence do you have to bag up your claim if you submitted or informed the VA that you were going to submit a sufficient DBQ? I just gave you 2. An M21 manual reference if you informed them that you were going to submit a DBQ and they didn't call you. Or if you did submit a sufficient DBQ and they went ahead and scheduled the exam anyway, you refused it and they declined the increase or denied service connection. So when you go to that high level review, guess what M21 manual reference and or 38 CFR that you're talking about. That's it. You're talking about the facts. Now, I just showed you a couple. there are some more M21 manual references out there and 38 CFRs that will help you boost your case on a high-level review. You just have to be educated, go out there, get that information, and have it if you have to do a high-level review. So with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and don't forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.